You all know that it's going to be warm, and that's going to happen. Now, the question is, everybody's asking, why is it so warm? But you know why I became a weatherman? Because I've always had my head in the clouds, okay? So this time, I'm going to tell you the things that I've studied over the last 30, 40 years. We have a wonderful atmosphere, you see, but the atmosphere runs from the surface only about 12 to 15 miles up. And without that layer of gas there, life would be impossible here. So what's in this stuff that you and I breathe every day? Well, the majority of it, believe it or not, is nitrogen, which is an inert gas, not a big deal. The big part of it is oxygen, which is very important to you and me and little green plants that are growing. Without the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, we'd have no vegetation and you and I wouldn't be around. And see this little purple thing here? That's the amount of carbon dioxide that we have in the standard atmosphere. It's a tiny little bit. It's less than 1%. So what's the big deal? Well, because we know that carbon dioxide retains heat, that has been enough carbon dioxide in our atmosphere to make life possible. It made our habitability on our planet possible, and that's why that little layer is so thin is so important to us. Carbon dioxide is fundamental to life. There's no denying it. But here's what happens. The sun shines every day. It does one of three things. One, it bounces off the top of the atmosphere. Two, the sunlight goes all the way down toward the earth and warms the earth. And then some of it bounces back up into the atmosphere that we have. Well, what's happening, since we've now doubled the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, the sunlight cannot bounce out. It stays here, so we're heating up and heating up and heating up. This has been going on for, well, since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, about 1850. So now the point is that we're getting an accelerating path. Now, here's about, what's that, 1990, right there. I started talking about climate change and global warming right about there. And we only had 300 parts per million. Well, in the last 20 years, we're already up to 425 parts per million, and now you're feeling the effects. Now, this is literally the way it's happening, and this is why we need to do something creative. What could be creative? Well, you and I drive around, combustion engine shoots out exhaust, and you multiply that by 6 million cars, and what have you got? Okay. The other thing we have is that, of course, we want electricity, of course. But if we burn coal, we get a lot of emissions out of that, and all that just goes in the atmosphere. Remember, that doesn't go to Mars. It stays hanging in the atmosphere. That's the pocket of gas that's around the Earth. And what I like to tell the people is, like, think of a peach. The Earth is the real tasty, juicy part. But the atmosphere is the skin that goes around it. And you bruise that skin, and the fruit's not going to be very good for so long. So, what's the forecast? It's hot. It's going to be 98 tomorrow, and it'll stay at about 100 over the weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody that we do have a QR code. It's